What? Oh, she's yeah, okay. Welcome to Cindy's Kitchen. Cindy's Kitchen. All right, so mushrooms. We're using portobello mushrooms. Now, most of the time, the mushrooms that most people use are button mushrooms, right? So these are the mushrooms that most people will use. These are probably the cheapest type of mushroom that you can use. And the one that if you heard stuffed mushrooms, this is what you would see. Kind of a party snack, if you will, or an hors d'oeuvre. Toothpick holder. Oh, I could use that as a toothpick holder. Deb, good morning from Iowa. Wild mushrooms, yum. Have a little coffee with your cream. I know. Well, I know, but then I have this other useless Polish pottery. It looks like a little thing, and it has a black cat on it, and that's my toothpick holder. I know, I have a lot of useless, I don't know. It's not useless. I use everything. I just have to come up with funky ways to use it. Who would have thought? I mean, this makes sense, right? So this, I put my olive oil in because it has a little stopper. See? So I have my olive oil in that. So that makes sense. But I needed something for my canola oil. So I put it in a little tiny, it's a 1-cup teapot. But it, you know, it's got a lid. It's easy to refill. It pours nicely. It doesn't get everywhere. I know, goofy girl. But I figure out something. Nothing is not used. Back to the mushrooms. Woo! Okay, so button mushrooms. This is what normally people do. And the ones that you will see, the majority of the recipes that you're gonna see, or that maybe you've made, say to take off the stem, and maybe you hole it out a little bit, and you use the stem and whatever you've taken out, you chop that up, and then you saute that with either a little onion or shallot, garlic, butter, whatever else you want in there. And then once that's cooked, then you take that, you mix it with breadcrumbs, and you stuff the mushroom caps. There's the cap, there's the stem. And that's all good and well, but I mean, for the most part, would you go to all that trouble just to eat them for dinner? And my answer is no. Because look how much trouble to do each one of these little tiny ones and then get it in there, and I would make a big old mess. So I don't make these a lot. My favorite way to eat mushrooms is I melt. You're gonna die, but knowing you could have too much Polish pottery. I know. Hey, Kathy. I know. I told Rebecca last night about the teapot canola oil. I saw Linda. I did. Unfortunately, this was one of those things that was the last of that I got, the 1-cup teapot. Anyway, I like to put in a stick of butter. I know you're gonna go, a stick of butter? Yes, a stick of butter and then a bunch of Worcestershire sauce. And once the butter is melted, then I put in a ton of sliced mushrooms and some roasted garlic until it's all cooked down, and then that goes on my steak and in my baked potato and in whatever else I'm eating. Pork chops, doesn't matter. So good. But anyway, so we're not using button mushrooms this morning, even though this is the cheaper alternative. We are, however, using portobello mushrooms. So this one kind of broke just a little bit, but that's a better inside, if you will. So this is what a portobello mushroom looks like. See how it's bigger? It's a huge, big as my hand. You see how big that is? And then underneath, just like the button mushroom, right? It has a stem, see the stem? The only difference between the button mushroom and the portobello mushroom stems is these usually can be chopped up and cooked fairly easy. The stems on the portobello mushrooms tend to be a little stringy and woody and fibrous. And so usually not a good choice to chop up and use. Although they're good if you're making a stock and you want some flavor, you could throw those in there, you know, because then you drain the vegetables anyway. Okay, then the other thing that's different in a portobello mushroom, and I'm gonna get a little closer just so you can see. Do you see the inside of the mushroom? Now, I don't know if you can just see black or if you can see that there are something that we call gills. It almost looks like a gill. You see that in there? The gills? And that's what they look like. I mean, if you get, I don't know how close I can get where you would see. Do you see it? Okay. The gills have no purpose. You can keep them in there. Like if you want to just take off the stem and cook them just like that, you certainly can. The problem is these brown gills, whatever you make, like if you're gonna put this in something else, it's gonna color it a brown, muddy, kind of icky color. Doesn't matter what you put it in, rice, pasta, whatever. It colors it and it makes it just kind of an ugly color, an unappetizing color. So the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to prepare these to cook, to roast, because we gotta put them in the oven first, okay? So bye-bye button mushroom. I'm gonna use this one that's kind of all together, and I'll show you. It also has, you see this little white part on the edge? I'm gonna take that off too. It's very light and stuff. Now, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I did 7 mushrooms already, and this was the insides that I scooped out of 7 mushrooms. Am I using this? No. I just kept it so I could show you how much stuff came out of 7 mushrooms, okay? So you take your mushroom and a spoon. Easy stuff. You don't have to go get expensive equipment. A spoon, right? Does it have to be a teaspoon or a tablespoon? Doesn't really matter. We're gonna take our mushroom and then, or you could use a grapefruit spoon if you have a grapefruit spoon. I like grapefruit spoons. They're hard to find. Okay, so you're just gonna take your spoon, okay? And we're going to, you see how we're just gonna go in there? I'm gonna take the white piece off first. It's not like you need a knife or anything to cut. Now the stem, you can reach in there, if it's long enough, you can just reach in there and pull it off, okay? Now, we're gonna take our spoon, we're gonna go around where the gills are, where I showed you where those brown gills are. So hold it in your hand flat so you got a good grip. Take your spoon, finger on the top, and we're just gonna scoop. We're gonna go around and we're gonna take that off, okay? Can you see me doing it? Okay. Kind of hard to do it from a different angle, right? All right. Now, so when I say these are stuffed mushrooms, you're gonna get the wrong idea, and I'm gonna show you why in a second. I was trying to call it something else, but I don't know what else to call it. So, all right, you don't have to get it all out from under there because these are delicate, and if you're digging on these, see how I already broke it right there? You want them whole. You can take your spoon and dig a little bit more where that stem was, just to get that out. And you would think somebody will say to you, they would be wrong, but somebody would say to you, you want to dig that out so that you have a nice round shape, right, to hold your stuffing. And that sounds like it would be correct. It's kind of like Facebook doctors. It sounds right, it looks like it could be right, and yet, no. Okay, so once we finish with this, see how they're all cleaned? Oh, let's talk about cleaning a mushroom. I was watching my friend, I love my friend Rebecca. She's on today a lot, right? But Darren, her husband, last Friday they were doing a cooking show on beef stroganoff, right? And so I was watching him do a beef stroganoff, and he's slicing up button mushrooms, right? And she's sitting on a stool behind him, and she says, "Did you wash those?" And I'm thinking, no, don't wash the mushrooms. And he goes, "Yeah, I washed the mushrooms." And I'm thinking, oh, no. Okay, you do not want to wash mushrooms. Now, some of you, hello, Karen, hey, Lisa, some of you may be saying, but they're dirty. They came from the dirt. Yeah, I got that. But here's the problem. Mushrooms retain a lot of liquid. They have a lot of liquid inside, and you wouldn't think so just by looking at this sucker. But once you start to cook it, a lot of liquid comes out, and it absorbs liquid. So if you wash this, like if you put it in a bowl and you're like scrubbing and washing on it, 1, you take off a lot of the skin, which tastes really good. And 2, the whole time you're doing that, it's soaking up that water. And so now it's just more limp and watery and not good. So the way you clean a mushroom, any mushroom, is you take a paper towel, or you can take a tea towel, kitchen towel, whatever you call it. Just take it and you just brush it, okay? You just brush it, the dirt will come off. And quite frankly, if all the dirt didn't come off, didn't you eat dirt as a kid? I don't know if you did or not. I didn't eat dirt as a kid, but if you raised boys, maybe they did. Anyway, a light brush will get all the dirt off and you're good to go, okay? Now, most people will tell you, I'm gonna get a big, this drawer needs WD-40, desperately. Okay, you're gonna need a baking sheet. You don't need to spray this, because we're gonna spray them, we're gonna oil the mushrooms up, okay? But here's the deal. Most people will tell you to drizzle oil on the mushrooms. You know my thing, if you watched yesterday, I'm not a drizzler. I'm not a drizzler. I use a veggie cloth. Yes, Lisa sells Norwex, and they have these little cloths. That sounds bad, rags. Cloths for vegetables. So normally I could take my olive oil and drizzle. The problem I always have with drizzling is you drizzle, I tend to get more on the pan than I do on the vegetable or the meat. And then there's always spots where there's no oil. And so then I have to pick it up and get it up. That just bugs me. So I'm not doing that. So what I do is I have the spray canola oil or vegetable oil, whatever you have. And so I'm gonna spray the inside first, okay? So I'm gonna spray the inside first, just a spray. I'm gonna put a little salt. Now the salt is gonna draw out, and a little pepper. The salt is gonna draw out more of the liquid, okay? Now I'm gonna spray the top of it. Salt on the top, and a little pepper. Purple. There are very few Polish pottery patterns that have purple. Purple! Okay, and that's it. You wanna put them capsize up. So the dark side up, so the inside is facing down. You can preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Once the oven is preheated, you put these in there in just 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and they'll flatten out. Now you'll go, really, just 10 minutes? Well, let me show you just 10 minutes. Here's what 10 minutes looks like. Now I have flipped these. Let me flip them back, just so you can see what it looked like when it exactly came out of the oven. I had to flip these, and I moved them to a different cookie sheet, okay? They look like little steaks, really. Can you see that? So I'm gonna put one on my hand. There you go. So we went from, well, we'll use this one. We went from this to this. Look, doesn't that look like a steak? When we did a veggie diet, I would take these whole like this and cook them in the oven. But before I did that, I would put in a little, Worcestershire on there. And then it gave it more of a meat quality. It's like actually having meat. And I think the Worcestershire made it taste more like meat. Diane Conley, pay attention. I would like these for lunch soon. Good morning, Michelle. Hi, Camille. I love that. That's great. Okay, so here they are. The other thing I want you to notice is, do you see how, remember I told you about, oh, that'll be great because we'll have something to stuff in, and it's this little cup. Look how flat they are. Well, let me hold it up again. Okay, you see there's really no cup. It's just flat. So when I say we're stuffing mushrooms, so that's why I'm gonna flip them now. We're stuffing mushrooms. It's really, we're laying the filling on top. So if you can come up with a better name for me, that would be lovely. I will use it, okay? All right, so I flipped them over. So now they're not so pretty. Kind of, just what they are. Okay, now here's the cheaty part. Because you knew I was gonna cheat doing something. Not just with the oiling, but something else I was gonna cheat. And here's the cheat. You can put anything you want on top of portobello mushrooms, really. I mean, the list is exhausted, and you can Google a bazillion recipes. That being said, I cheat. And I have to use things that I have on hand and that I know the family will eat. One of our favorite, you could use plain rice, okay? But I'm just telling you, one of my kids and my husband, and quite frankly me's favorite thing is rice-a-roni. It's only 99 cents a box. Now, that being said, a lot of times I have to get 2 boxes or I have to get the family box, okay? And if I get the family box, it's $1.99. Or I buy 2 of them and it's $1.98. Isn't that stupid? Stackers. Yeah, but I'm not stacking the mushroom. Maybe. Okay. With goodies. Yes, we are going to top them with goodies. Anyway, so rice-a-roni. And we use all the flavors, but for this particular one, this is the creamy 4 cheese. And the reason I'm using the creamy 4 cheese is because on your mixture that you put on top, you want something creamy. You want a cheesy or like you could use cream cheese in here. You could use regular cheese. You need something to bind everything together and get some ooey gooiness. Okay, this is lazy because the rice-a-roni 4-cheese rice, creamy 4-cheese rice already has cheese in it. Okay, so I cooked it already and that's what it looks like. You take the big spoon out. You see? That's what it looks like. So good, and I could eat it just like that. I like rice-a-roni, and if you haven't had it before, it's a mixture of rice and vermicelli. You know, little pastas. And so that's why you saute it first, and then it comes out with that nutty brownness, and then you add the water and the flavor pack, and mushroom flips. Oh, that's a possibility, Vicky. Hello, Nadia. Good morning. I have to do a shout out to all the military personnel. I had no idea being away from your spouse for 69 days was gonna be so difficult. But since today is day 69, it's killing me, I tell you. So for all of you who are military families, I salute you. I do, I salute you, my hat's off to you. I don't know how you do it. I think you're awesome. I'm not doing well. I mean, I'm doing okay, but you guys are saving me. I mean, really, I know that sounds goofy that a cooking show could help my psyche, but you're the reason right now I'm getting up and I'm moving and I'm planning, and so thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, so we got our rice-a-roni. I've already cooked it. It takes 20 minutes. You put in some butter in the bottom, you saute the rice. When the rice turns a pretty brown, you add the water, you add the flavoring packet, you bring it to a boil, you turn it down to simmer, put the lid on it, walk away for 20 minutes. Poof! Rice. Okay? Sheety rice. Now, I'm gonna take a bowl and I'm gonna get, so we need enough rice to put on the top of one of these, okay? So you can decide, it can be a lot or it can be a little. I'm going with a lot. So maybe, I don't know, 1/4 cup, 1/3 cup. All right, now you can decide what you wanna mix in here. Here's the bad thing. I thought I had some extra hamburger meat done and I didn't. Because this sounds good, this is good with hamburger meat. My son is in the Navy. It's not the same. It's hard. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Good morning, Janice. All right, so whatever you want to put in here is fine. And you can put whatever meat you want in here. So I thought about hamburger meat because I've done that before. No hamburger meat. I thought about ham, and I always have lunch meat ham in the crisper. No ham. No turkey. No, the only thing I had meat-wise was bacon bits. I'm okay with that. So I'm gonna toss in just a few bacon bits. Now this is the only one I'm gonna do with meat. So there we go, bacon. I just put like however much you want. Teaspoon, tablespoon if you really like bacon. So now's your choice of what veggie you might want in here. I went a little fun, well, and I'm spreading things everywhere. I just took a yellow squash and I grated it up. And you don't have to grate it. You could chop it really fine in small chunks because, you know, it doesn't matter. Maybe you like it a little crispy. You certainly could do that. Good morning, Cheryl. Ground Italian sausage. That would work. Just make sure that your meat is cooked. Everybody knows somebody who needs Cindy's Kitchen. Oh, thank you, Jessica. Anyway, so I just took a yellow squash and I grated it. Okay, so that's it. You see what it looks like grated? Because 2 things. If it's a yellow grated squash, maybe the children won't notice that there's a squash in there because it's gonna melt all in there and look like rice, right? And quite frankly, I like yellow squash. So I'm gonna put a big bunch. Again, wholly up to you how much stuff you want in there, okay? There we go. And then I'm just gonna mix that together. Now, if I didn't use the 4-cheese rice-a-roni, then I would need to add some cream cheese or a different kind of cheese to kind of bind this together, right? But because this already had the cheese sauce in it, I'm good. Okay, so that's my mix. And I'm just gonna take, moving this over. So one of the mushroom caps. So really kind of better, we're gonna have to get our hands dirty, right? So I'm just gonna pack this in my hand. Like it's a patty, if you will. And like I said, it already has a sauce. And then I'm gonna take that patty and put it on top of my mushroom in a little mound. Ta-da! Look at that, isn't that cute? Okay, now, you don't have to do this because that's fine right there. But then you can always take a little shredded cheddar cheese. Look, and do just a little shredded cheddar cheese on top. Oh, because really, is that a bad thing? And there you go. Look how pretty that is. Now I'm gonna do one more, just because we can. So I'm gonna get another bowl, and I'm gonna get another scoop of, and you can make them all the same, obviously. I'm just trying to give you some options of what to do. So I have my rice in here. I'm not gonna use my bacon bits in this one, but I made some spinach this morning. Because remember when we did the pizzas and I had spinach on a pizza? So I had almost a full bag of fresh spinach. So the only thing I did is a tablespoon of butter. The rest of the bag of it was pretty much a whole bag. I think I used like 4 or 5 leaves out of it. And then a bunch of roasted garlic. You see the big chunks of garlic in here? You can shred it up, you can dice it up. Big chunks don't bother me at all, okay? And then I cook that. That takes like 2 minutes. And then you have this big mound of spinach, and then poof, that's all that's left, right? All right, it is wet. So you wanna squeeze out some of that liquid, depending on how much you're putting in here. So I'm just gonna give it a squeeze, look. I told you today was gonna be a little messy, and you don't have to choose. Look at that, lots of liquid. You don't have to choose to use this, but I love spinach. So this is my spinach one. Ugh. Ugh. You know how I keep telling you I hate it when my hands are, and today is not a good day for Cindy's hands, right? Okay, and so I'm just gonna take this and mix it up. Now you could, again, add I can add some more of the yellow squash, because that's just gonna give it some stuff. You could put bacon bits in here. You can put zucchini squash. You can put bell peppers in here. And again, any kind of meat, ham, hamburger meat. You can put chicken in here. I suppose you could do tofu. I don't know. Never done a tofu one. Okay. I'm getting all the spinach just because. Yum. Okay. So again, come on. Lots of spinach. I'm going to put this in a patty-ish shape. Patty-ish. And then I'm going to set it on top of this one. Ooh, yum. Set it on top of that one. And then just because, again, I think that everything is better with cheese, I'm going to top that with a little cheese. Now, everything that we've put, the mushrooms are cooked. And everything that we've put on our mushrooms is cooked as well. So, as a result of that, you put these on that, and then this can go in the oven. As a result of that, our oven can go down to 350 degrees, and really, 5 minutes, not long. All you're doing is melting your cheese. Basically, that's it. I mean, you could put it under the broiler. You gotta stand right there if you put it under the broiler, right? So we did portobello mushrooms. We talked about the difference. Oh, remember I told you they retain the water? My son is an A-10 pilot in the Air Force. This is something stationed in Turkey. Oh gosh. Cheese. Yes to bacon. We need to follow Rebecca's suggestion and contact Houston. Oh, well, thank you, Vicky. I appreciate that. I do. I hear you. My son's somewhere, and I know that's so hard. It's hard. The other thing I wanted to show you. Remember when I told you don't wash the mushrooms, that they have a lot of liquid in them? And maybe you don't believe me, right? Maybe you're like, I'm not washing that mushroom. I am not brushing that mushroom with a paper towel. I'm washing that sucker. Okay, without washing, I brushed 7 mushrooms. When I took them out of the baking, take the uncooked one and set on there and put those 2 in the oven, please. When I took them out, this is what? You see all that liquid? I'm not drinking this. I just did it to show you. All this liquid came off the cookie sheet because you don't want them sitting in gross liquid. You see how much liquid that is? That's a lot. That's what came off the mushrooms. That's how much natural liquid is in 7 mushrooms. A lot, I tell you. And so you certainly I wouldn't want to drink that, although salty, tastes like mushrooms. Would be good to flavor mushroom soup. I can't believe I'm drinking it. Not bad though. I mean, it's okay. It's yummy. Anyway, so mushroom juice. We don't want that on there. We don't want on there. You believe me? Hey, Luis Cadello. Hey, Kathy. Ooh. I know, but it wasn't bad. If you don't like mushrooms, I'm sure it's ooh, right? Okay, so we took our portobello mushroom. We oiled them, we salt and peppered them, we put them top side up. We put them in a 400-degree oven for 10 minutes, just until they were soft. As soon as they came out, we drained all of the juice, all the liquid that came out of the mushrooms. Look how much. Poured that off. You don't have to drink it. Poured that off. Then we made our stuffing. We cheated, and we used a box of rice-a-roni creamy 4 cheese, because it already has the cheese in it, right? You could use another flavor, but then you have to use a cheese of some sort. So when it was done, we just took this and we added our toppings, whatever our mixture was. Cooked hamburger meat, cooked turkey, cooked chicken. I put in bacon bits in one of them. Cooked ham, any kind of cooked meat. Or meatless Monday, no meat at all. That's fine too. And so I shredded up a yellow squash. You could cut up a zucchini. You could do a tomato. You could do bell peppers, red, yellow, orange, green, whatever your little heart desires. Artichokes, everything you could want in there. So I did that, and then I also cooked some garlic and spinach, and that's what I put in one of mine. And then you don't have to, because it is creamy 4 cheese rice. But then I took a little shredded cheddar cheese and topped it on the top. Good morning, Carol. Hey, Maribeth. That's okay, no problem. What was crap? I wonder what the crap was. She put crap. Anyway, so there you go. Isn't that cool? We have done our portobello mushrooms. So did somebody come up with something that we liked? Stacked, filled, maybe filled. Whoops. I don't know what. Crap. Oops. LOL. Okay. All right. So I'm moving all that aside. And now we're going to move to our while that's cooking, and really like 5 minutes. Nothing. We're just watching the cheese melt. While that's going on, we're going to do our 1 pot lunch for one. Now, I have to admit, because I give credit where credit's due, that originally I got the idea from Martha Stewart. I have a Martha Stewart cookbook, but really, I may have made 2 recipes out of there. I like her, and I think she's incredible. Don't get me wrong. There's just not a lot of recipes in there I liked. I think they took too long. I have never had a portobello mushroom. Well, I think you should change that and give it a shot. Give it a shot. Smothered mushrooms, maybe. Mushroom flips, that's the one I like. Okay, mushroom flips, I like that. These little mushroom flips. Portobello mushroom flips, that's what we're gonna call it. 1 pot. Anyway, so I was watching Martha Stewart, whenever it was. She did this for the whole family, like a big pot. I didn't like her whole recipe, and quite frankly, I can't do that. I can't do that because I have a child who doesn't like sauce on her spaghetti. Do you have one of those children? I do. So even though I really prefer to make, like when I'm doing spaghetti, to boil the pasta and to have this, make the sauce and add whatever I'm going to. Maybe there's meat in there, maybe there's not, and then dump all the noodles in there and serve it like that. No, because one of my children will not eat that. So I have to keep the noodles separate. The only time she'll eat it is if I just put butter and garlic on it. She might eat it then, but other than that, So here's what we're gonna do. You need a pot. You can use a smaller pot than this. I'm just using this basically so you can see in the pot, okay? And I love this shape. I have to tell you, Rachel Ray, thank you very much for making this shape of a pot. It's almost like a wok-ish, like a baby wok, baby skillet. I don't know what it is. Deep skillet, baby wok. I don't know what they call it, but I really like it. I don't like sauce on my spaghetti either. Well, there you go, Sherilyn. All right, so I'm gonna use, when I make this for me, I use angel hair pasta, that's my favorite, or thin spaghetti. Now, part of the problem is I'm really weird because everybody else in the world probably eats al dente pasta, not me. I want the pasta cooked. I don't want to taste stuff. I don't know. I don't want there to be a bite. I just want it to melt in my mouth. Anyway, okay, so I just have some pasta. Now see, do you see how much? Not very much. If I put my fingers all the way around it, my fingers all the way around it, you see it's not very much at all. because it's just lunch for me. It's just for me. But if you want to make for you and one other one, maybe you double that, okay? Now, I'm taking it and I'm cutting it and I'm breaking it into thirds, okay? So, and because it's pasta, it breaks really easily. So, 1/3, 1/3. There we go. Before you put it in here, I want you to take this and break off a bite, and I want you to taste it. I know this is gonna be odd if you've never done this. Put it in your mouth. Okay, it's hard. It's gross. And it has no, oh, I'm not supposed to say gross. It's unappealing. And it has no taste. No taste at all. Except unappealing. Is that a taste? That is why when you boil your pasta, you need to use salt. Use salt, because there has to be some flavor to this stuff. There is no flavor, as you see. So, we're gonna use salt in this. So I use just a small handful of angel hair pasta. Then, garlic, because you know. And this is my roasted garlic. I had a small spoon, oh, there we go. Because I like butter, garlic, parm. Oh, I forgot to get my parm out. I need to get some parm. Cooked all the way. There you go. All right, so you're making this for you. You can put as much or as little garlic as you want. I'm gonna put in, for this little bitty bowl, I'm gonna put in 3 whole cloves. If you're using fresh, you need to mince it or slice it very thin. Because remember, fresh garlic has a bite to it, whereas the roasted garlic is sweet. So you can leave it whole, you can smash it, you can mince it, you can dice it, okay? Stick it in the pan. There you go. Now, I like tomatoes, okay? So, that being said, if you have cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes, that's awesome. I do not. I had a Roma tomato. That's all I had. And quite frankly, there's 1 in my refrigerator. That's it, okay? So 1 Roma tomato. I roasted garlic for the first time thanks to you. Loved it. Barb, I'm so glad. I really am. I would break out and look like some what? Hold on. I couldn't eat spaghetti as a child. Oh my, that's an awful thing. Okay, what can I substitute for garlic? Lemon. It'll brighten it up. Let's put a splash of lemon in there. And you're gonna need to use more butter. Use some onions. You can use onions or onion powder. Those are some options for you. Okay, now I don't like necessarily big old chunks of tomato because, you know, I'm eating this with pasta. So, see the dice that I've made? I'm just gonna dump that in the pan. Seeds and all, blah, blah, blah. Not the top, I cut the top off. Okay? So I'm just dicing that up. I like everything in bite-sized pieces. So there you go. All right, my tomato is dumped in there. Cindy, you're just putting it straight in the pan? Yes, on top of my pasta. Now, I have like 5 or 6 leaves of fresh basil. A must. Fresh basil, yum. I'm not gonna cut it, I'm not gonna shred it, I'm just gonna dump it in there. Just dump it in there? Yes, we're dumping everything in there. Okay? Now, you want mushrooms in here? You can put mushrooms in here. You want capers in here? Oh, that's one of my favorites, but I didn't have capers. Although, I don't like the big capers, I like the little bitty capers. You want to put some yellow squash in here? Put some yellow squash in there. Doesn't matter, right? A little color, a little more color. Whatever you like in your pasta, this is the way to go, okay? We're gonna need some butter. Now for me, because it's just for me, I'm gonna use a tablespoon of butter. Does that look like a tablespoon? Okay, scooch over there. Put the cow away. Tablespoon of butter, and now we gotta do our salt and our pepper. Ready? I'm putting a lot of salt in here, and you're gonna go, oh. So I'm telling you, at least half a teaspoon of salt. I'm using tomatoes. Tomatoes need salt. I'm doing this pasta, and pasta needs salt, okay? And then I'm gonna put some pepper in. Now, a lot of people would put onions in here. I'm not a big fan of onions in my you know, like pieces of it. But I'm gonna give you some options. Well, there we go. If you want to slice up some very thin onions, you certainly could do that. If you have shallots, you could do that. You could use some onion powder if you wanted to, if you wanted the flavor and you didn't have it, or minced onion. You could put some of that in there to flavor it as well. Okay, you're like, really? That's it? No, we need water, okay? For this amount, I'm using 3/4 of a cup of water. Pour that on. We're gonna put it on the stove and bring it to a boil. Oh, I hate that burner. Hold on. Oh, that one too. Oh, there we go. All right, I'm gonna bring that to a boil. A boil. Now, bringing something to a boil takes about 2 minutes. And unfortunately, if I was making it over here with you, that meant that things weren't getting hot. So that's gonna have to cook, bring it up to a boil for about 2 minutes. I'm running a little late because, you know, I like to show you the finished product. So I am going to show you our finished mushrooms. So we'll look at those while we're waiting for that to come. He can't eat fresh garlic, so I have to use the powdered garlic. We certainly can do that. Yeah. Do you have every pattern Rebecca sells? No. No, I don't. I don't have a lot. I don't buy a lot of the Unicat because I like new patterns. So I try to get more for less. I don't know. That's bad. But so there you go. Good morning, Danielle. Danielle, can you hear me? I need to make an appointment to get my AC checked. It's time, and I forgot to call you. Can you please have Brock come over and do my AC check? You got to go with the AC company, right? Danielle, put the name of the company that you guys own. Awesome. If you're in Houston, this is the AC company for you. Okay. Hot. But here we go. Let's get a plate and we will plate these up. Okay, do you see how they retain their shape? Let me move the cow so you can see. You see how they retain their shape? I am gonna go get my spatula. Well, I say I am. Okay, the only thing you need to pay attention on the pasta is you want to keep giving it a stir, give it a toss, and the only reason you want to do that is because, you know, if you don't do that, what happens? The pasta clumps together and sticks to the bottom, and we don't want that. We want no clumpy pasta, right? Hey, Bess. So look, I'm going to come up and I'm going to plate, and then I'm going to come up and I'm going to plate. Look at that. Look how easy that is for dinner. And then, look, is that beautiful? Look how beautiful that is. The cost of meat, I don't know if you've been to the grocery store lately, but the cost of meat is almost double now. Not only is it hard to find meat, but the cost is doubling. It's very icky. So we need to come up with some options that we can still feed our family economically, but also yummily. Yummily, that's a new word, okay? So that's the one that just has the mushrooms. I'm sorry, the mushroom, the rice. It has sauteed spinach and garlic and a little of the yellow squash. And then this one is the one that I put bacon bits in and the shredded yellow squash. And Danielle is not putting the name of the company on there. Oh well, okay. Anyway, so those are our two mushrooms. Yum. Okay, and I have to take a picture of them before I eat them, so I'm not going to eat them in front of you because people have been going, we need to see what they look like when they're done, so picture will have to come. Pardon me. Okay, this is coming to a boil. I just want, I'm coming apart. Let me see if I can tilt it. Can you see? Can you see? There we go. So it's coming to a boil. The pasta is softening. The the basil is softening, and the tomatoes are softening. Okay, so it's coming to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, like I said, about 2 minutes. Now you want to boil it. Let it boil. You can turn it down a little bit, but I like it to just boil. 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Just watch it. I don't know. Pardon me. I think it was that raw. It was probably that raw noodle I ate. Because it was unappetizing. Anyway, so 15 minutes. Just let the water boil. It's gonna consolidate all those flavors, the butter, the roasted garlic, that fresh basil, tomato, and the salt and the pepper. It's all gonna get a little thicker. The pasta's gonna start to swell up. And then after 15 minutes, take it off the burner. Okay, turn the heat off. Here's what I do, because it's just for me, it's not for anybody else. I put the lid on it. Put the lid on it and walk away. And I walk to the cabinet and I get my lovely bowl. And then I go get my fork, right? I go ahead and make my drink. Then I come over there, and then you gotta get your parm, right? Gotta have some parm. And by that time, it's just, there's been a little steam that happened. And so then I'm gonna take just a splash, not a whole lot, just a splash of half and half. And I'm gonna splash the half and half in there, give it a spin, put it on my bowl, and top it with Parmesan cheese. Yum! Dinner or lunch, one pot, lunch for one. The steam got you. Yeah, probably. Anyway, so I know we've gone long, and I apologize for that. But anyway, I promise you that as soon as the 15 minutes is up and it's boiled, I'll put it in a bowl. I'll take a picture of the finished recipe so you can see what it looks like. So we did Portobello mushroom flips, right? So there we go, kind of our version of stuffed mushrooms with cheesy rice, and then whatever other things you want to add in there that are yummy. And then the one pot lunch for one. So I hope you got some good things today. You learned about button mushrooms and portobello mushrooms. Okay, it's not here. It's not done all the way yet, but we're gonna show. Hold on, because I like my pasta cooked just a little bit more. Come on, leaves, come out of there. Come on, leaves. Okay. I'm gonna take just a splash of heavy cream, or half and half. You can use heavy cream, you can use milk. Okay, I just want a little bit of flavor. Now, because this hasn't boiled long enough, there's way too much liquid. Oh, parm. We'll put some parm on there. Now, I don't know, I'm gonna tilt you instead of the bowl because I don't want the bowl falling out everywhere. Are you ready? And, nope. Oh, hello. Are you there? It won't let me do that. Hold on, I gotta take you out of here. It won't let me do that. Okay, I'm reversing. There we go. See how liquid it is? It needs to cook about another 10 minutes. And then that sauce will be cooked down. But can you see how the cream turned it a really good color? The basil is all melty. The tomatoes are falling apart. Oh, so good. Can you put olive oil with the noodles? Well, of course you could. But I'm just telling you, butter is king. And again, remember that you're flavoring the pasta. So, you know, if you have a good olive oil and you can taste that difference, you can certainly use olive oil instead of using butter. Like I said, there you go. Kelly, that's okay, because you can always watch the rerun. I like delectable mushrooms. Oh, maybe I have to think about that. No draining? No, Barb, I'm not draining, because if I let it cook for another 10 minutes, that liquid is going to condense. It's gonna thicken up a little bit and it's gonna cook down, and the pasta is gonna soak up that water. Oh, and then it's gonna be delightful. And that's why you only use 1/3 cup of water. There's no draining required. Okay, you guys have an awesome day. Tomorrow is gonna be really fun. I'm so excited about tomorrow. Tomorrow we're having a tea party. A tea party, I tell you. It's not necessarily gonna be an English high tea. It's gonna be a Cindy's Kitchen, maybe low tea. I don't know, but we're gonna have fun. You guys have a great day from my kitchen to your kitchen. I hope you got stuffed, flipped, and went wow over the one pot. We'll see you tomorrow at 11.